Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I have here an article coming from the Ukrainska Pravda, and we have the Ukrainian defense minister, the kosher MoD Reznikov, and he's going to tell us some important information. But I gotta tell you that without the numbers you can't give me percentages, okay? Because you kind of have to know how much was at the beginning, how much is now, and then you make percentages. Or maybe there's a different kind of mathematics in the Middle East or something, but hey, maybe he's gonna tell us some numbers too. Ukrainska Pravda, December 30th, 2022. This is the title. Up to 13% of Iskanders left in Russia. They cannot produce them. Minister of Defense of Ukraine says. Okay, well that means if you tell me at 13%, you must know how much was at the beginning and how much they have now. Tell me how much is 13% of how much? As 3 out of what? Of let's say 15 or something, or whatever, 10? Not even, that's more than that. 13, let's put it like this. Really? Yeah, okay, let's see, maybe it's gonna tell us. Russia is already using its critical stock of Iskanders in the war against Ukraine. 11 to 13% of the total numbers remains, and they cannot produce them. How much do they have? How much did they have? You don't know, because you're not knowing that, and if you don't know those, you would have told us, but you don't. And you can just at least make up some numbers for me. You gain some a respectability if you say that. Otherwise I will say yes, bullshit. And besides, remember what that the other idiot, his name is Ben Wallace, the UK's military defense, military intelligence minister of military intelligence of UK. He said that Russia doesn't have any more missiles and rockets, is incapable, that he said it on the 24th of December, is incapable of conducting another massive missile attack on Ukraine. That he said it on 24th of December 2022. I made a video on that. You can check it out. And then if you remember on the 29th, the Russians again with a massive of 130 missiles, or 140 I think it was, 140, the biggest from the beginning. So again, this guy Wallace, he did his job of disinformation. That's part of his job of the intelligence services, is disseminating this kind of information for the enemy and for the weasels who are gonna masturbate a little bit on that news. The Russians cannot do it, and when they do it, what do? Hey, jerk-offs, are you gonna still believe that guy? If you do, then you're an idiot. What are you? But no, because they take their opiates. You know how Karl Marx, what he said about religion? That's the opiate of the people. That's what it is. The same with these guys. Oh, let me watch TV. Let's watch what Reznikov and what Wallace said. And then, oh yes, the Russians are losing. And then the next day, that's all fucked up. Not true. What are they gonna do? I need more lies. Please lie to me again. Oh, here it is. Oh, okay. Oh, the Russians are losing. And the next day, again, they lied because it's proven again. And they say, where's the opiate? Oh, let's watch Reznikov. Oh, the Russians are losing. That's how I see the fuckers. And I saw them with former President Trump every day. The mass media and these guys that are like, Trump is gonna be arrested this morning. Oh, tomorrow Trump is gonna be leaving White House in shackles. Yes. Nothing happened. Why? Because they were giving the population, the retards, the opium. That's why yes, he's gonna die, he's gonna be caught, he's gonna be indicted, yes, he's gonna see it. Nothing happened. Why? You have to know reality. You have to know the boundaries. And I was laughing every day in the face of these guys because I knew, at least better than them, what the limits are. And the limits were not even reached. But anyway, let's go and see what Reznikov was giving us as an opiate. The Russians have between 11 and 13% of the total numbers remains. And everybody's like, ooh, it feels so good. And then the Russians are going to drop another 140 Iskanders, I don't know, in a week or so. And then what? Start over. Oleksiy Reznikov, Minister of Defense of Ukraine, in an interview, LB. Well, quote from Reznikov, I'm quoting, right? We have counted how many they have fired at us. Okay, how many they had, and how many they had left. That's exactly correct. And I would like to know the numbers. They have dipped into a critical reserve. They have somewhere around 11 and 13% of Iskanders left. Let me just go down this fucking article and see if they tell me any numbers. No. So Reznikov is right about his mathematics, arithmetics, and percentages. So he graduated the first how do you call it, grade or whatever is that, right? So he graduated. Now what? Give us the numbers, my boy. Why don't you have the numbers? Because you don't have them. Make up some. And the weasels like me are going to say, maybe he's got a point. Why? Because I don't have the other side telling me, he's lying. And then who would you believe? A liar versus another liar? Let's continue taking our opiates, okay? Yeah. So let's say here what it says here. They have dipped into a critical reserve, okay? According to the Soviet classical norms, they should keep a reserve of 25 to 30%. They've already dipped into it. Again, percentages without numbers, off. Committed a crime from the point of view of their responsibility is the same with calibres. Oh, okay, calibres. Give me the number. You don't have the number. I don't believe anything you say. Have a nice day, Reznikov. But it's okay. I'm not Jesus Christ to show up and throw those tables, turn them upside down in the temple. Remember that one? Yeah, there was a Reznikov over there selling stuff and changing money, you know, like the same here. Reznikov said that earlier Russia used both sea and land-based Iskanders, including launching them from the territory of Belarus. But now, I'm quoting, when we look at the type of missiles and the amount they're firing, we see that they do not use Iskanders because they cannot produce them. No, maybe that's not necessary. Maybe they get the job done on a cheaper way because you lost the ability to defend from those Soviet ones. Can that be a reason why? I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying you don't bring any evidence. And your connection between why they don't use it with your interpretation has no basis. Like mine doesn't have, as I said. Mine doesn't have either. I can say, well, because I think Putin had a bad jerk-off last night and he decided not to use Iskanders. Why your scenario should be the right one and not mine. It's the same crazy one, mine as yours. Or maybe Jesus Christ said, hey, Putin, stop using those Iskanders for me, my man, and caliber too. How about that? Why not? I mean, I provide you with so much evidence as you provide me. Your word. Let's move on. But now, when we look at the types of missiles, I'm repeating this, and the amount they're firing, we see that they do not use Iskanders because, with no connection, no nothing, correlation, they cannot produce them. Okay, if you say so. But give me those numbers first. He added that Russia has more than 7,000, has right now more than 7,000 S-300 missiles, but invaders have begun using them as surface-to-surface ballistic missiles. So he has the numbers, somehow, of the S-300s, but he doesn't have the numbers of the other ones. Weasel, Treaser, whatever. Okay, S-300, flies up to 200 to 220 kilometers, so they terrorize Kharkiv, Mykolaiv, Kherson, and Zaporozhye Oblast. Just using the S-300s in order to get to the objectives of our critical infrastructure in the Lviv, Ternopil, Kiev, and Odessa Oblast, they use either aircraft carriers, KH-101, KH-555, for example, or Calibre C-based cruise missiles, he said. So you see, they don't really need anything else for those Kharkiv, Mykolaiv, Kherson, and Zaporozhye Oblast. They can use the S-300, okay? And the rest, Lviv, what are they doing in Lviv? Anyway, I don't know exactly what's going on over there, but I'm just saying. He has a point. I'm not saying that he doesn't have a point, that, hey, if you want to hit deeper a little bit, you need Calibre missiles or something else. You can't use the S-300, which is right. But it still doesn't make a point like, oh yeah, that's because they don't have it anymore. Maybe that's not the right time. Maybe that's not the right objective, the right target to hit and use the Iskanders at this point. Who knows? Reznikov definitely doesn't know. Otherwise, he would spew it right here. Between attacks between attacks, it takes anywhere from week to 10 days to, in particular, conduct reconnaissance, additional reconnaissance, order satellites, find Ukrainian air defense, etc. Furthermore, the Russian Federation cannot arrange 2 missiles waves in a row. They can make, and I'm quoting, they can make 2 waves, missile plus Iranian drones or drones missiles, but they can't make missile plus missile, missiles plus missiles. If large-scale attacks are concerned because there are nuances of a technical nature, accumulation, equipment, and so on. He talks in generalities. Okay, I can talk the same way. I can use all kind of terms, and I bring no evidence. And I don't like, you see, some speakers are very eloquent, you know. They're very, you know, articulated, like former President Obama. He was very articulated. I didn't see that, but they pushed that on us so we can see that he has some qualities. That was the only reason. And I never saw substance in Obama whatsoever. I didn't see in, what's his name, the guy before and the guy before and so on. I mean, no, they were just, the outside, the form, not the substance. So the same with Reznikov. He talks maybe nicely and he uses terms. I think he got a PhD in something. I think he's an educated person, let's put it this way. But it doesn't mean that if he's educated, he's a good guy or he's really smart. Because I met PhD people. I don't have a PhD, okay? But anyway, I met people with PhD and I can tell you a lot about them. Good and bad. But when I'm going to tell you the experience, you're going to drop your, But anyway, that's all according to how much you know about subjects. Because if you know more, you know how much someone else knows about the subject. If you don't know anything about the subject, I can use 3 French words here and say, Emil speaks French fluently. Because you don't know anything about French. But if you know some French, you know, let's say 20 words and you use 2 sentences, and I'm going to use only 1 sentence, and then I'm like, you know exactly how much French I know. So again, with the PhDs, you can, don't let people show their credentials. Hey, I have a PhD in this, I have a master in this. Okay, good, very, very good, very good. Now let's talk. I want to see how you think. That's the first thing. And then how much you know. That's all. But the first thing, how you think. That's the more important than how much you know. Because when you know stuff as a memory, so you read a lot of things, then you have to put them together in order to make an analysis and come to a conclusion. Now, if you don't have the right boo-boo-boo, you come to the wrong conclusion because you don't know what evidence to pick. Anyway, any information. Let's move on here with this weasel. The Russian Defense Ministry, in response to Western reports that the Russian Federation has actually exhausted its reserves of high-precision weapons systems amid a large-scale strike on Ukraine, said the Russians, and I'm quoting, will never run out of caliber missiles. That's an exaggeration, obviously. Analysts of the Institute of Study of War pointed out Russia's inability to defend its territory on the background of Russia's statements that it will never run out of caliber missiles. Based on what? Again, I can talk very nice, but no substance. The air forces of the armed forces of Ukraine stated that effective control over compliance with the sanctions imposed on Russia will prevent the aggressor country from producing caliber cruise missiles and other weapons. Man, that's possible. That's possible, everything you say. You know, it's like that skeptic guy who read the Bible. And after he read the Bible, he wrote a note on the back of the Bible. It says something like this, good story, if true, or something like that. So the same here, good speech, everything is great if true. If everything you say is true, yeah, that's great, I take it, but you don't prove anything. You haven't provided me with any evidence. The only evidence you provided me was the so-called 7000 S-300s, that's all. And from your ass pulled the 11 to 13% Iskander, which I can tell you that tomorrow the Martians are going to land. Or they landed actually yesterday, but they left today, so you couldn't see them because you are, okay, the same way. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Don't trust these guys. Neither the other ones as well. So stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.